Yeah, okay, my flow sinister. This ain't rap music, this straight literature. If this the type of flow, get your meetings with ministers. My ops comedy, invite புண்ணாச்சு சிரிச்சு சப்போர்ட்டுக்கு தமிழ்நாடே இருக்கு. I thrive in the jungle, நான் காட்டோட மிருகம். இது தமிழ் American hip hopோட பிறப்பு. Hey, a god popping off miracles. A dignified, supplying the clearest proof of being a real Tamil hustler who be lyrical. Day, அதுதான் என் சிறப்பு. வேற எந்த தமிழண்டா இவ்ளோ ரியலாவே நெருப்பு. Homie, stop, control your virup with your hating ass self. That's just so un-American. Your lurking is embarrassing, even if it's hysterical. I gotta be careful not proving myself to weirdo fools. It chase ghosts, faded, we going vertical. She love a Virgo, she let me play with a cervical. Renting verbo, yachts, boats doing the most. I'm like Picasso, yeah, I got Pablo Ghost. Yeah, I told you my flow sinister. This ain't rap music, this straight literature. This the type of flow, get your meetings with ministers. My ops comedy, invite புண்ணாச்சு சிரிச்சு.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music for Days podcast. I'm Sidhu, and join me as I explore and connect with all the music artists here from the Chennai music scene. But today, we have an American artist all the way from Seattle to come join us today in the episode. And today we have Wozy. Hey bro.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro. How are you doing today?
I'm feeling absolutely blessed. Seattle to Saidapeta, I'm here.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah.
So, Wozy, could you tell us a little bit about yourself today?
Yeah, so, my artist name is Wozy. I am a Tamil American entrepreneur and music artist. I lived in Chennai until I was 8 years old, moved to the United States immediately after that, and did most of my schooling, life, all of that back there. But throughout this entire time, due to my family, I've been able to keep in touch with my roots and blend a lot of that into what I do, and that's part of the reason why we're here.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, let's get into that more. So you've told us that you're from Seattle, right? Now, and like you said, you moved away from Chennai when you were 8.
Yeah.
So in all these years, what are some of the highs and the lows of being brought up so far away from your motherland?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think, so when I was a kid and, I found out first that I'm going to be going to the United States, I was really excited, because you just look at what's going on in TV, Cartoon Network, everything is just kind of portrayed to make America look just amazing and awesome and all that. So there was just a lot of excitement. So when I, originally came to America, I kind of approached it with that level of excitement without knowing any better. But, kind of over time, right, I think some of the challenges that I faced immediately was, one, language. You know what I mean? So like I'm a Tamil kid. I came to America. I had to quickly, pick up on the language. Obviously, I know words here and there, and I can speak, here and there, but nowhere to the level of, fluency of, being
Even the
American.
accent thing being like a whole thing. So
Yeah. So all of that was different. So I think initially, it turned from excitement to slight confusion too, because here I am at school, I'm interacting with all these American kids, and I have to now understand this new culture. Like I have to understand, what type of music these kids are listening to, what type of movies they're watching. All of this was like brand new for me. And then I would go home, and then my parents, I'm speaking Tamil to them. So I kind of felt for a long time that I'm kind of leading this like double life of, being Tamil at home and then being American outside of home. And I think over the years, that confusion actually turned into a little bit more clarity, because I realized, what? I'm not the only immigrant in America, right? Over the years, I realized, oh wait, hold on, there's Korean kids here, like Ethiopian kids here, Mexican kids. So these are all people that are speaking different languages and associating themselves with different cultures at home, yet they're still American. So kind of being in the multicultural melting pot that Seattle is, it gave me the opportunity to feel like, oh, there's other immigrant people here as well. But that was great. One of the challenges I faced also, like as a kid growing up, is that there weren't, too many like Tamil kids around me. So, a lot of the feeding of the Tamil culture that I received was directly from my parents and like the random, like Tamil movies that we'd be watching, like, once
there wasn't
every week.
too much relatability going on there, being a Tamilian,
Yeah. And that relatability was something that I had to find just through like my American side. But just knowing that I'm an immigrant and relating that blanket immigrant status to other immigrants, but then the specificity of like what's going on within my specific immigrant culture was not something that I was like used to growing up. So I think a part of the reason I'm just so happy to be in Tamil Nadu and like make music in Tamil and connect with all these other artists is because of the fact that I didn't grow up with it. So you know what I mean?
You're revisiting it and you're finally getting back in touch with your roots in
Yeah.
a much more wholesome and fundamental way.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
great to hear. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. But like, okay, now you spoke about America, right? Now,
Mm.
obviously, as you mentioned, that the relatability factor isn't a lot. You had your fair share of challenges of sorts there. Now, how was it in terms of other Americans then? Did they treat you a specific way or a certain type of way just because you were a Tamil artist, doing your thing in Seattle?
Like even before I gave myself the label of an artist, just being Tamil or just being like a brown skinned person over there was it did make me feel a little bit different. You know what I mean? Just considering the fact that there weren't other people that looked like me, it was kind of this like feeling of, wait, am I different? Like how can I like fit in more? But one of the blessings of being in a place like Seattle is that it is a multicultural melting pot. I think it's more of a liberal environment than compared to like the rest of America.
Mhm.
So obviously I faced my fair share of racism and discrimination and things like that. But over the years, I realized the beauty of being American is freedom of speech and just having the confidence and owning it. But yeah, to answer your question, it wasn't all like I guess fun and games.
Yeah.
But there were little moments where you just go home and you're like, why would the teacher say something like that? Why would that kid
look at you a certain
look at
type
me
of
a certain way or even say certain things about me or
Mm.
comment on my skin color and things of that nature. But over the years, like I said, just knowing other immigrants, like immigrants, typically tend to look out for each other, at least based off of my experience. So I felt like even though I am technically like a minority as far as like Tamil people are concerned, as far as immigrants are concerned, and I'm like clumped in that category, I felt connected. You know
Felt
what I mean?
connected. Yeah, they were very welcoming in terms of their culture.
Yeah.
Even though obviously there's going to be moments because we're not living in a perfect world, right?
Right.
You're going to have your issues,
Right.
but still, as a whole, Seattle was great for you. So
Yeah.
okay, that's perfect. man.
Yeah, like
That's
looking
perfect.
back at my life, I would definitely I wouldn't change anything. You know what I mean? I think all the specific experiences that I went through allowed me to maintain and hold on to like my American upbringing and American identity, but at the same time having like the very very deep connected roots
Of course.
to Tamil culture via my parents allowed me to stay close to that. One thing I wanted to also mention as to the reason as to why my parents were so deep into Tamil is because my paternal grandfather, my dad's dad, he's a Tamil Pulavar, right?
Okay.
So he made it a point to make sure that the entire family like knew and understood the value of being Tamil.
Mhm.
And a part of that started with even the names we have in the family. Like my artist name is Vozi, but my name is Arivoli. வீட்ல அறிவுன்னு தான் கூப்பிடுவாங்க.
Mm.
என்னோட தம்பியோட பேர் அருண்மொழி. My cousins are like Kavin Moli, Yedil Bharati, like Udaya, like
As Tamil as it can get.
yeah, Tamilarasan, you know what I mean, Ten Moli, Kani Moli, like Kadiravan. It's all names like that.
Yeah.
And like a part of the reason for that was like my grandfather wanted us to maintain that Tamil identity no matter where on earth we were.
Mhm.
And he was always very particular about maintaining that like element for us. And I think like that seed he planted, into my dad was planted into me. And I think it's just now we're just living the fruits of that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's become a part of your identity, right? Like you can't, like obviously you don't have to make it like a point, like wherever you go in life that you have to make sure that you're Tamil, but it's still who you are.
Absolutely.
It's still like even I'm Tamil, and like I know that no matter where I go, that's going to be a huge part of me. Despite me, even I'm an artist, and I'm also like, even though I'm venturing into more of like you can say Western style, because that's the influence it has on us.
Yeah.
Hip hop and rap has been primarily and like an American and Western influence over our culture.
Absolutely.
But we still have to do what we can to still
Absolutely.
rep our own thing.
Absolutely.
So that's really great that your family really made it a point to incorporate those values. So that
Absolutely.
and the thing is, apart from the fact that you're representing it, you're also educating it. So many people like don't realize how vast Tamil history goes.
Absolutely.
Like it's not like it's a competition, but we know the richness behind the culture that is here in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
So that's
no, and I wanted to like make one more point on that is I'm glad you mentioned that because, growing up, and even me, I kind of fell into this trap of, someone trying to ask me, hey, what are you, right? Because sometimes it's like hard to identify exactly what I am because they've never seen someone that looks specifically like me. Even like, Dravida Kalai ulla Mugangal versus like other Desi faces, still a big difference, right? So they're looking at me like, what are you? And when I was younger, I was like, oh, I'm Indian because that's easy for you to identify. You know what I mean? I look at somebody else trying to identify me, and I would say I'm Indian because that's something they know. But in the process of trying to identify, I realized I was losing my identity.
Yes, that
You know
is
what I'm
very
saying?
true. Yeah.
So later, like I think like around the time I, got to college, when people started asking me, "What are you?" which happens quite frequently, by the way, I started saying I'm Tamil, and they'd be like, "Oh, what's that?" And then I get the opportunity at that point to say, "Oh, Tamil. It's one of the oldest languages and cultures in the world. We're people that's based out of southern India, northern Sri Lanka, but there's about 80 to 100 million of us worldwide.
Yeah.
And one of the most beautiful things about Tamil is that it's the oldest spoken language in the world. And they'd be like, "What, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Google it right now. Oldest spoken language
Fact
in the
check
world.
it. Yeah.
What comes? Tamil."
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing, like considering how many languages there are and how many cultures there are. We are verified by Google as the oldest. Right? So to
Yeah.
me, that's something that I just carry with so much pride that I'm happy to share that with anybody.
And the thing is, like, as you mentioned that, right? Like, when it comes to a lot of people, they look at an Indian and they think, like, okay, he speaks Hindi. Or she speaks Hindi.
Exactly.
And like, bro, you don't get it. We got dialects. We have so many languages.
Yeah.
Then there is a dialects within each language. So
Yeah.
it goes deep.
Absolutely.
It goes really deep. So, I really appreciate the fact that you're able to make it a point wherever you go, man. Like, keep repping Tamils, man.
Absolutely.
For
I'll never
sure.
stop.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, and speaking of the whole Tamil aspect, I really wanted to like congratulate you, man. Like, because you don't understand how many, Tamil people you're making proud by being such a successful real estate entrepreneur there in Seattle. So how did you even get into real estate in the first place?
That's a good question. And thank you for the congratulations, by the way.
Of course.
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to my dad originally, right? So he is someone who graduated as the very first engineer in his college. He grew up in a little small area in Salem called Ammapeta. Went to a government school, like first engineer in his college, as I had mentioned, and worked his way to be like a mechanical engineer here. And then his younger brother actually went to America and then told him the opportunities there. So he, really put himself in position to go to America first, work for a few years, and then bring the family there with him. And one of his original goals of coming to America was to start a business and to be an entrepreneur and, really go down that path. And a lot of people don't realize, like when you come to America, yes, you might make some money, but the cost of living is also significant.
It's way too high. Healthcare.
Absolutely. And then there's healthcare, insurance. Like, there's so many different ways money just leaves you. So for someone like him, even though he had the entrepreneurial aspiration, there's also like, visa issues, like you have to wait to get the green card. And then once you get the green card, you have to get the citizenship. And there's all these elements that, prevented him from really like stepping into it. Probably the bigger reason was, hey, I have a wife and 2 kids. So, if I stop my day job and, pursue something entrepreneurial, who's going to pay for, like
that
livelihood?
pressure will always be there.
Absolutely. So this is something that I had noticed growing up in him, right? So I saw how hard he worked and, how much money he had to save and, all the extra hours he put in. And at the same time, I saw his passion for entrepreneurship. So for me, ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to get into some sort of business. Right, so that was my main thing. And but over the years of growing up in America, I didn't have any mentors or influences that were entrepreneurs. So the path that I was advised was just get good grades.
The safe path.
Yeah, go to college, get that degree in engineering, and get that coveted job in an American tech company, get your salary, vacation package, and then boom, you're set.
You're set.
So that's what I thought was life. So I had this entrepreneurial dream as like a teenager, and then by the time I got to college, I realized, oh, this is really hard to do. I'm gonna pursue this path. So I did that. So I went to college, got a degree in electrical engineering, and then worked for companies like SAP, Microsoft.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I consulted for a company called Accenture, where my client was T-Mobile. So I did this for about 5 years in the corporate world. And then around 2016, it got to a point where I had paid off all my student loans. So at this point, I'm debt free. I have, some income. I have some savings that I had accumulated along the way. And I'm also remembering my dad's, initial reason for coming to America and what his ambition was. And at that point, it just hit me really hard. Like, man, if I just continue down this path, I'm going down this like golden handcuffs. Someone told me in the corporate world, you can have 2 of 3 things, but not all 3.
Okay.
Right? You can have good, physical and mental health. You can have, you can have good physical and mental health. You can climb the corporate ladder from, developer to senior developer to director to executive. So you have that. So and you can have good social/family life. So health, career success, family life. So between these 3 things, pick 2. If you wanted health and family life, you have to sacrifice your climb in your career. If you wanted to, continue your climb in the career, you have to sacrifice either your health or family. So I realized,
like, you really can't pick, right? And
No.
like, they're all so essential for everybody.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And for me, when I realized this, and I'm at this point in my life where I'm about to go from one job to another, I realized, man, if I just go to this next job, then that's just what my life is going to be.
Exactly.
And I'm just going to be stuck working this 9 to 5, and then that'll just be my life. So during that time, I kind of made this decision that, hey, I want to get into entrepreneurship. And it wasn't just during that particular time. It was like maybe like a couple years before that. I'm like heavily thinking about what my life is. And during this time, I'm reading a bunch of books and learning a bunch of things. And I'm realizing that amongst a lot of successful people, real estate like plays a key element in their career/success.
Exactly.
And it just hit me, right? I'm like, okay, as an entrepreneur, I'm trying to sell some sort of product or service. Okay, what product or service can I launch? Okay, you know what? Real estate is the biggest product that exists. We live in it, we work in it, we eat in it, everything in real estate. So you know what? I don't have to reinvent the wheel over here. There's people that buy real estate, there's people that sell real estate, and there's people that rent real estate. And there are specific logistics around each of these categories. If I can find myself to be someone who creates value in any of these scenarios, maybe there's an opportunity for entrepreneurship. So that was like my initial thought. I don't have any real estate, entrepreneurs in my family outside of me. I mean, maybe there's like some aunts and uncles that invest in real estate, but no one that's like, I'm a full-time real estate person. Nobody like that in my family. So it wasn't necessarily like intuitive, but it was bold. I'll tell you that. Like I decided, all right, I'm not going to look for another job.
Because as you mentioned in terms of real estate, right?
Yeah.
The level of risk that involves, I mean, everything has risk, of course. Everything has its own challenges. But you're dealing with real estate. You're going up with like people who already own lands, and to carve your own little, dent your own name into it, your brand into it, that would have taken a lot, man. So I really respect the fact that you're able to maintain it, especially not like here locally, outside the world, and showing it to everybody that, yeah, you know what, the place does not matter, the location doesn't matter, I'm still going to do my thing. So that's really great, man.
Yeah,
honestly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that brings me into the segment, this part where I wanted to ask you, like you said, you've had your corporate, you've done the whole corporate ladder, corporate ladder process. Now, in this stage of your life, after everything that you've learned, would you say primarily you're still a real estate entrepreneur, or now you're venturing into primarily being an artist?
So I'll answer that question by telling you that. So I remember when I was in the corporate world, right? I was always interested in music. Okay, I was always interested in music. I learned how to speak English through listening to rap music, and it was always a part of me. And then even going back to our Tamil culture, right? I think poetry and punch dialogue, like all that is deep within our culture. Even Ghana music is a form of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is, yeah.
So there was always this kind of element of words and music that I was really, really like associated to, and found myself intrigued by. And I always felt that like making music or rapping kind of came natural to me. And I remember when I was in the corporate world once, I had some project due the next day. And then, there was like some like rap that I had recorded on my phone, like a selfie rap video that I just posted. I remember that I like recorded like, a week before that I had posted the day before work. And I'm at work, working on this report or whatever. And then one of my coworkers is like, hey, so you have time to, make a little rap video, but you can't do the work or whatever.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. So at that time I felt, you know what? Damn, this is kind of crazy, because if I want to pursue art, and if I really want to express myself unapologetically, it's gonna be hard to do that because now I have to consider the opinions of my coworkers and my boss, and their opinions can affect my pay. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So I
because
felt
it's quite literally a threat, right?
It is.
Because they're like, they expect you to sort of be like this, like obviously no specific hit at anyone specific. But generally, when you look at the corporate world,
yeah,
I mean, I'm just gonna say it as it is. A lot of people
Yeah.
enslave us.
absolutely.
It feeds into that slave mentality.
It's golden handcuffs.
Yeah, the golden handcuffs, exactly
Yeah.
like you mentioned. So I'm glad that eventually you were able to find your way out of it, because
Yeah.
the saddest part about, I think, just living, right,
Mhm.
is people going by their lives without even realizing what they're like.
Yes.
Like I feel like both you and I, right, Wozy, like we are low-key blessed. High-key
Absolutely.
blessed. Who am I
High-key
kidding?
blessed.
High-key
Yeah,
blessed to know that, okay, this is what we want to do.
Yes.
Like, I'm very grateful to even like sit here and do a podcast with you where we get to
Yeah.
talk about music.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not the case for so many people. They
Yeah.
live their whole lives in their corporate ladder, that
Absolutely.
stress, that pressure. So it's good that you were able to break up out of it, because obviously, success is one thing, but
Mm.
your mental peace,
Yeah.
that is the most important.
Yeah.
The
And,
most
and,
important.
and to answer your question, and I don't want to be roundabout, but this was a process that led me to,
Mhm.
this kind of understanding of who I am. So around the time I'm like, leaving the corporate world, trying to figure out, what it is that I want to do for the world, and figure out, what my career is and who I want to be and all these things. There's this exercise I did called Ikigai. This thing kind of shut off, by the way. So I'm just
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So there's this thing I did called Ikigai. It's like this Japanese concept of like 4 Venn diagrams that connect, like what you're good at, what the world needs, like what you can be paid for, and what your interests are.
Mhm.
Okay? So these are like 4, little buckets. And then you kind of fill it out as much as you can. And within these 4 Venn diagrams, where the intersection happens is your life purpose. Okay? And for me, when I went through this exercise, the things that were like in the middle was entrepreneurship, music, and community service, and give back as much as I possibly can. And those were the 3 things I realized, okay, this is important for me to do. So at that time, in 2016, I wrote a mission statement. Vozy is a company that integrates real estate entrepreneurship with culture, music, and technology to inspire positive change in the community. So I kind of took it upon myself to think, okay, any of my activities that I do in life, I'm going to go back to this mission statement and see if it fits. If it fits, then it's part of my purpose. If it doesn't fit, then I don't necessarily need it. Not that I wouldn't do it, but I don't need it.
Right.
I'm
yeah.
looking at, when you guys call me for this podcast, go back to the mission statement. It fits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some things I'm not like consciously thinking about, but I just know.
But you need to know, right? Because like we're at a stage where, I mean, like, we all have to prioritize. you know.
Yeah.
Gone are the times when we could just like sit around, think about our future, in school days or college days. Like
Yeah.
both you and I, even I just finished my college and I have to prioritize my life. So I you know what? I think I'm gonna actually take that up, because
Yeah,
I feel
do
like
it.
that's genuinely like a good way to like assess what my current situation is
Yes.
and find a way to reach the future situation I want to be in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, please continue.
Yeah. So after going through that exercise, I came up with this mission statement, and then I realized, I love making music. I never want to stop making music, and I want that to be a big part of my life. But I don't want to depend on that as my primary source of income, because I realized, most artists, they just don't make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they do, it's very, very little.
Yeah.
It's not enough to like sustain yourself and your family. So that aspect of it was very clear to me from the beginning. But I didn't want to let that stop me from making music, right? So that's where real estate, came in. Like I obviously want to make money, and we live in a capitalistic society, whether you hate capitalism or not. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
It's the reality.
It's
Like,
the reality. If you're spending money, you're a capitalist.
Yeah.
It's just how it is.
It's just how it is.
Right? So if I have to spend money, might as well make money. You know what I mean? And then so real estate became a primary aspect of my life and process. And then throughout that, I realized, oh wait, I can create wealth for myself and wealth for others. So I never want to turn that off. I never want to turn off the aspect of, there's so many elements to real estate that I do that we can talk about, but I never wanted to turn that off. So to answer your question, do you consider yourself more of a real estate entrepreneur or more of an artist? The answer to that question is I'm a full-time artist as well as a full-time real estate entrepreneur,
Oh,
because I have the freedom to choose that.
yeah.
I don't have a boss or, coworkers or such and such that's going to stop my pay because of it. Because
You
I
are
just-
the pay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, coming to that level of confidence, allows me to make that statement. And from there, it's not about, being the most like successful artist and, like I need to, make music and have it blow up and reach, millions and millions of people. If it happens, great. and I have no doubt that it will
Yeah.
in my life. And there's songs like I did with Hip Hop Tamila that's over 1 million views.
Yeah.
These are like manifestations of
That
of
belief.
that belief, exactly. And yeah, so to answer that question, man, it's just I'm a full-time artist, full-time entrepreneur, and full-time community activist. And depending on what the specific thing that's going on in my life at the time, I'm doing that more of. Like today, right before this podcast, I recorded a song, and I'm here.
Yeah.
We're talking about like my journey and music.
Yeah.
Like people would think this guy's a full-time artist.
Yeah.
But then if I go a separate day, I might just be on site at a construction project or talking to a client about, what their specific, needs are, or, like going to my bank to, figure out some sort of loan. So if you're looking at me that day, I'm a full-time real estate entrepreneur. But then if you look at my life, if you zoom out and if you look at it overall, this guy does all of it.
And the thing is, I feel like out of everything that you mentioned, right, my personal thing that I like the most is that the fact that like you are the example, you are amongst the examples of people who are changing the idea of a starving artist. Because like you said, artists do not make money. If you're in music, you're actually losing money. Unless you are like amongst with like the top labels, or unless you're a very viral artist on the internet, you're not making money. It's like I think we need to highlight the fact of how much like you earn from maybe like one stream in Spotify.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people think, oh, million streams on Spotify, this guy must be on top of the world.
No.
That gives you very little money.
Yeah.
Very little
Yeah,
money.
people wouldn't realize. Like the Otto Garden probably earns more money per month
very true.
than someone who makes like 3 million streams on Spotify.
3 million. Even like I've seen some artists, because of, it could be due to a lot of factors like the region from where their audience is listening their music from, the economy of that region.
Exactly.
But the ultimate sad reality is for that artist, he could have 100 million streams.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't get paid beyond like maybe $4,000 at best. That is like a pipe dream too.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
it's a very, very daunting reality.
Yeah.
And you're changing that idea, man. I really look up to that idea, man.
No,
I wish I could
appreciate
be like you, honestly.
No, thank you. Now, honestly, man, it's like I'm honestly just getting started, and I feel like a lot of the times, I'm just really playing it by ear and I'm improvising.
Yeah.
And throughout this improvisation, which has now been like 7 years, like I'm realizing, oh wait, there's specific things that I can do that allow me to fulfill my purpose. And yeah, I wanted to change the concept of a starving artist. You know what I mean? Just because you're not a successful artist in terms of like, like mass appeal doesn't mean that you're not gonna be a successful entrepreneur. And I think those things don't have to be related to each other.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean? And to go further, right? If you look at really successful like rappers in America, right? Like whether it's Jay-Z or Rick Ross or like people at like the top level, right? These guys are big time entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they take pride in the fact that they're entrepreneurs. They take pride in the fact that they're executives. And then they're kind of creating this identity of I'm an executive who happens to rap. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I thought about it like that, and I realized, you know what? I'm gonna start my journey as an entrepreneur who happens to rap. And if I continue that, there's gonna be, some sort of influence and people that are gonna, be appealed to that energy, and then we'll see where, God takes the journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's lovely to hear, man. And now that you mentioned the Hip Hop Tamara song, let's get into that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, like, how did your track, which is called Nadanda Varikume, which means whatever has happened till now in Tamil, right? How did your track Nadanda Varikume with Hip Hop Tamara even come about? Like, how did that happen? What is the story behind Nadanda Varikume?
Yeah. So I love the song, and the song is just so representative of a lot of the concepts and themes we're talking about. It's about self-belief, it's about, the journey, it's about, progress, it's about entrepreneurship and all these things. And it's a very specific kind of like energy that we were able to put together in that song. But yeah, so originally I met Adi and Jiva, who, as a duo are Hip Hop Tamila, in 2018. So there's like a big conference in America that happens every year for Tamil people called FETNA, Federation of North American Tamils.
Okay.
So it happens in a different city every year, hosted by the specific Tamil Sangam of that area. So that particular year, it was in Dallas.
Okay.
Okay. And like I went to that event, and like Adi and Jiva were also at that event, and they were just doing some sort of like speech there. And there wasn't like too many people there. There's maybe like 20, 30 people in the room as he was speaking, and it was just a really cozy environment for you to just go talk to him And so I went to Adi bro, and I was just like, hey, how you doing? Da 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 da. You know, like my name is Vozy. I'm an entrepreneur as well as an artist. I really love what you're doing. Boom, 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 and that was that. And then just throughout that initial interaction, just I guess due to some, you know, I guess supernatural forces, I felt like we were just really like connected to each other, and we felt like, oh, you know, I really like your vibe. I really like your vibe. Cool, let's connect. And then we just followed, you know, like I was already following him. He followed me on Instagram, and that was that. I didn't ask him anything, like nothing. He just like, and over time, like, and as you may know, like I use my Instagram as like my branding,
Of course.
and marketing vehicle. So I was, you know, showcasing a lot of my entrepreneurial journey as well as my music journey throughout Instagram. And then, you know, he was consuming that, and then he was like, you know, like appreciating and, you know, giving me props for a lot of the stuff that you're giving me props for, and you know, he saw me continue to progress in my journey as an entrepreneur, and he himself is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has a bunch of different companies, and like he has a media house, and you know, he also does real estate. He has a clothing company. So there's a lot of, you know, elements of similarity that we shared as entrepreneurs who also happen to rap. He's doing it at a much higher level, but then he recognized what you recognize in me, which is major blessings. And yeah, just kind of over the years, right? It was just honestly just like he would congratulate me, I would congratulate him, and we were just, you know, communicating with each other as friends. And then, you know, along the way, he just asked me, hey, I have this song that's, you know, coming up. I want you to rap in it. And I'm like, done.
Wow.
And yeah, he actually gave me the beat at some time in like late 2020.
Okay.
And obviously I finished it right away. And then it took until 2022 to release.
Based on both of your like release schedules.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. More his release schedule. You know, I'm ready anytime. But
Okay.
yeah, so you know that released, and I think a lot of people are just surprised. Wait, how is this guy from Seattle connected to this
Hip-hop
guy,
Tamila,
Hip Hop
yeah.
Tamila? You know, but it was over years of us following each other's journey, and you know, like even the concept of the track, even my verse is talking about a lot of the concepts and themes that
Yeah, man.
we're discussing
Of course.
over here. So that's
Yeah.
how that happened.
And I just wanted to say, I was literally listening to it on the way here today.
Okay.
And bro,
Thank you.
y'all gotta check out Nadanda Varikume on Spotify by Vozy and Anirudh. Check it. Sorry, Hip Hop Tamil. My
He's
bad.
manifesting my next song.
Yeah.
It might not be called Mathematic. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, check it out right now, guys.
Yeah.
So you know, and so wow, so it's been it's been 4 to 5 years in the making, and
Yeah.
and that's crazy. And like, you know, now that you worked with him, how was the working relationship? I mean, you see Hip Hop Tamara as an artist, and you see yourself as an artist. I'm sure you'd have your own personal set of like likes, dislikes, or like certain standards you hold before you
Yeah.
work with anybody. Of course,
Yeah.
Hip Hop Tamara is huge.
Yeah.
Of course, but like, how was the working relationship with him? What were some of his qualities that you really respect and appreciate on a personal level, on a
Yeah.
professional level?
On a personal as well as professional level, I truly commend his work ethic. People don't realize how hard that guy works. You know what I mean? And how dedicated he is. And on top of that dedication, how strategic he is in all the things that he's doing. For him to transition from, you know, just making music to now producers believing in him as a hero and, you know, putting out, you know, movies on that regard and it being consumed globally, like even that journey from transitioning from artist to a hero is something to be like hugely appreciative of. So no, his work ethic is something that I definitely have a lot of respect for. But speaking of the like in relation to the song, it was honestly like, I mean, I know he's a great rapper. You know, he's good at rapping in Tamil. He's like, you know, like seen my raps, and especially back then I was like very consistent on just posting a bunch of stuff on Instagram, even like before Spotify. Like there was just a bunch of stuff that was
Yeah.
going, you know, viral within the Tamil community on Instagram, and he kind of knew my style. So he was like, hey, I want you to make a track, and I feel pretty versatile. Like I feel that I'm pretty versatile in the sense that whatever type of beat you throw at me, I'm gonna be able to find some sort of
Pocket.
pocket and you know, fill it in with my style. So I was confident that he's gonna send me something that I would like and be good at. And you know, thankfully he sent me, you know, Naranda Varikume. It was actually a different beat when he originally sent it to me.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a completely different beat, but it was on the same BPM.
right.
And so you know, he sent the beat, he sent me his verse, he sent me the hook, and then you know, based off of that, I quickly put together, you know, my verse and like sent it back to him the next day. And he was like, oh my God, I love the verse, bro. Da 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 da. And then that was it. And then I was like, hey, and then I tweaked it one more time and gave it back to him. But right from the beginning, he was just like, very appreciative of the verse, and he
Hmm.
seemed like he really liked it. So there wasn't like a bunch of back and forth and
Right.
I need you to do this different or that different. Like none of that. It was he gave me the full creative freedom within
That's-
that pocket to do whatever I wanted.
My guy, that's literally the best thing ever because that
Yeah.
shows the trust y'all have, right? Because you can't really do that with everybody. Literally,
Yeah.
I think that's one thing you've probably experienced yourself, and you've seen in so many other artists too. Is like the number of times a song changes. Like,
Yeah.
like you just mentioned, the beat changed, but like for example, I mean, let's take the song "Forever" with Drake, Eminem, Lil Wayne, and like Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye redid his verse just after listening to Eminem's verse. So like that's how much it changes in music, and the fact
Yeah.
that both of y'all had that shared mutual trust
Yes.
shows how strong your bond is, man. I can't wait
Absolutely.
to hear more of y'all, honestly.
No, thank you.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely more collaborations coming along, and a lot of stuff's in the works. And yeah, no, and at this point, I feel like like Adi bro, Jiva bro, and myself, like we're super tight now. You know what I mean? We have a group chat, like we text every time I come to Chennai. He invites me over to this spot, and our conversations are very like all over the place. Like we talk about music, we talk about politics, we talk about business.
Mm-hmm.
He's an extremely intelligent individual. People don't realize like how intelligent this guy is. He's extremely well read. So I'm always learning something new from him, and he's always very, very interested in what's going on in my world and how that applies over here. So it's honestly like a mutually beneficial relationship, and no, I love it. Yeah.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, all right, let's get into a little bit more fun stuff. Now we
Okay.
have this, rapid fire segment where you have to pick between two artists.
Okay.
All right, man. Let's get into it. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
All right. First up, Kanye West or Jay-Z?
It's so tough.
No thinking, bro.
Okay, Jay-Z.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
For me, Jay-Z was more of an I love Kanye. That's why I hate that question. But if I were to really pick, like Jay-Z influenced me more than Kanye, I would say. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And like I'm not a businessman. I'm a business
Man.
Let me handle my business down. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like that
man, of
line
course.
changed my life more than
For
anything
sure.
that Kanye did. But
Yeah.
but Kanye also changed my life.
Of course.
So that's my answer, but I don't like it.
All right. All right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Travis Scott or ASAP Rocky?
Travis Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same. All right. DJ Khaled or Rick Ross?
Rick Ross.
Okay. Yeah, you actually mentioned Rick Ross before too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Dr. Dre or Metro Boomin?
Ooh, Dr. Dre, just because he set the tone for someone like Metro Boomin to even exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. Pharrell Williams or Timbaland?
That's so difficult. I would say Timbaland, just because.
You're gonna pass up Pharrell just like that?
No, I mean like it's similar to like Jay-Z, Kanye. Like I
Uh-huh.
hate the question, but if I were to really pick, Timbaland influenced me more. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, of course. All right. Snoop Dogg or Wiz Khalifa?
Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicki Minaj or Cardi B?
I'm gonna say Cardi B.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. Okay. All right.
I just feel like I like her energy a little bit more. I feel like Nicki Minaj, she's cool. I think she's a better rapper
Uh-huh.
than Cardi B. But the way Cardi B carries herself with her level of confidence,
Oh yeah.
I think
Her
it's just
image or
her
personality.
image, I think she's more of a fun person
Mm,
than Nicki Minaj is.
that is true.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right. Ice Spice or Pink Panthers?
Ice Spice.
That's- Of course, man. Yeah. Okay. And all right. Sway Lee or Post Malone?
Post Malone.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Post Malone.
All right. I think you're gonna hate this one.
Okay.
50 Cent or Ice Cube?
No, that's actually easy. It is tough, but I'm gonna say 50 Cent
Oh,
because
yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying was probably like the first like real album that I consumed and like really internalized.
Mm-hmm.
So
You
that
had a lot
album-
of personal connection. With that
exactly.
album,
So
yeah.
Get Rich or Die Trying, I think changed my life more than any other Ice Cube song. Even
Yeah.
though Ice Cube's a legend,
Yeah.
that's paved the way for someone like 50 to exist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Wu-Tang Clan
Mm.
or the NWA?
Wu-Tang Clan. But even that's another very tough question. But I'm more I like if I were to go out of my way to listen to music between the two, I would pick Wu-Tang. Clan.
Wu-Tang, of
Yeah.
course. And all right, now a little bit more new gen.
Okay.
Lil Uzi Vert or Playboy Carti?
I don't like either of them.
Now your forte.
Yeah, yeah.
Now your forte. Okay.
Yeah, no, but I would say Lil Uzi Vert. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Now for our Indian boys,
Okay.
Nav or AP Dillon?
I want to say Nav because he's like the OG, like the first guy to really, you know, he said I'm the first brown boy to get it popping.
Yeah.
He is the first brown boy to
He
get
is.
it popping. So
He
for
is.
him to do what he did, you know, before anybody else, you know, mad respect for that
Mad
guy.
respect. Okay.
And he's
man.
a great producer also.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of people don't really. They think he's just a rapper, bro.
No, he's
Nav's production.
He started
next
off
level.
making beats.
Yeah.
He started off making beats.
Yeah, dude.
YouTube-
You know,
YouTube-
bro.
Really?
If I'm not mistaken, he made like Drake's back to back. That song.
Okay.
If
Really?
I'm not mistaken. Like,
Oh.
don't quote me on it, but I think
Okay.
if,
Okay.
if my memory serves me correctly.
He used
Okay.
to upload to YouTube like Nav Beats or something like that.
Yeah, like no, he's a great producer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Young Thug or Future?
Future. It's tough, but yeah.
Really, you're gonna pass up Thugger just like that?
No, but like Future is just more of a like just I think in America, Young Thug is great, but I think Future is more influential.
Yeah.
Oh.
He
Um,
inspired their wave.
Yeah, so like he's like kind of like the godfather of like that style of music.
Mhm.
Not that I'm like big on either of them. I do like a lot of Young Thug's music, but I think Future.
If you had to pick, it's Future.
Yeah.
Who would you say is more influential, Varun?
Me, Future for sure.
Future.
I like Future more. Young Thug,
Yeah.
like you get bored after a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hot take. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'd say.
I don't think it's that hot of a take. I think most people would pick Future. At least in America, most people would pick Future.
Okay. Look, there is some bias. I'm a Young Thug fan, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's
But
what it
as
is.
an artist, I think Young Thug, like the influence is Future, but Young Thug's helped more artists come
Yeah,
out.
Oh,
Because he has a label. And
right
all
with
that.
YSL. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's it.
All right. Okay. Lil Pump or Smoke Pop?
Who was the guy that J. Cole dissed?
Both of them.
I think specifically Lil Pump.
I want to just say Lil Pump just because he got called out by J. Cole.
Okay. All right.
Like he made it enough on J. Cole's radar
Yeah.
to get called out by J. Cole.
You know, actually, it went to the point where J. Cole interviewed Lil Pump.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
it was almost like a kid that was like getting interviewed by his counselor and he didn't want to be
Yeah,
there.
they're homies now. So.
Oh yeah, they're homies.
I mean, like. Lil
I don't
Pump,
know.
he
I don't know if they're
changed-
like homies, but like
Damn.
I mean, yeah.
I think J. Cole's just a nice guy. I think like after he made that diss, I think J. Cole just felt bad.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you know,
J. Cole's like, wait.
"Sir,
Let's.
Paolo, también pa yan, no? Kung doon pesa lang."
Yeah. All right, bro. Okay. XXX Tentacion
Hmm.
or Juice WRLD?
XXX.
Okay.
He's more influential.
He's
again.
more influential.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
All right. Megan Thee Stallion or Tory Lanez?
I'm gonna go with Tory Lanez.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All right. Now that we just spoke about him too. J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
J. Cole. J. Cole's my top. I love
You
Kendrick.
didn't even flinch.
No, I didn't flinch because between the two I would pick J. Cole. I know I love Kendrick, but you know J. Cole is like my guy.
J. Cole's your
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
The hardest ones are there more?
There's more.
Okay, let's go ahead. Keep going.
All right. Eminem or Drake?
Man, that's tough. I want to say Drake just because he influenced me more.
Oh, okay.
But like it's very very like it's you know what I mean just like a hair more. But
Okay,
but
no,
Eminem
fair, yeah.
Eminem's a better rapper. Drake is like a better artist.
Yeah, better artist. Yeah,
Yeah.
like more overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's go back to the Indian sides more.
Okay.
Divine or Emiway Bantai?
Divine. Yeah.
Okay, same. Okay. All right. Now this is the last rapid fire question. Yogi B or Hip Hop Tamara?
I've met both of them, but I'm gonna say Hip Hop Tamira because we have the relationship, and he's someone who believed in me
Mhm.
enough to give me a shot.
There's just much more of a personal connection. there with
Exactly.
hip
So
hop.
it's just I'm gonna go with Hip Hop Tamira.
All right, man. That's
Yeah.
fair. So, okay, so that brings us to the end of the rapid fire. And I wanted to ask you. So we've done our research on you, and like, man, I'm just curious to know, like, how did you change your life around from being like an electrical engineer to then now a full-time real estate entrepreneur and an artist? Like, how did that even happen? Like, what made you go like, you know what, nah, like, I can't continue being in the electrical engineering field?
Yeah. So I realized that as soon as I graduated. So I never worked as an engineer.
Oh.
I never worked as an electrical engineer.
Okay.
So I worked more on the software side of things right from the get-go. But to jump from the software world and being like in the corporate world to being an entrepreneur / artist, I hinted on this previously, but it just came from just knowing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And I had this like burning realization that if I keep going down this path in the corporate world, I'm gonna lose myself, I'm gonna lose my identity, and years later, I'm just gonna be filled with regret.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm just fortunate enough to have met certain people that hated their life who happened to be in their 40s when I was like in my early 20s.
Yeah, it's a very bittersweet thing.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
So what do I have to do? And you know, I picked Jay-Z, but there's like this interview that he has with, it's like him, Warren Buffett being interviewed together by somebody else.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a great interview.
Okay.
And on that, he says, one of the most genius things that I did was I never gave up. And I took that to heart, and I realized if I pursue this entrepreneurship thing and I just never give up, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much, you know, life sucks, it's gonna pay off.
Yeah.
And I had this raw belief that is now coming to a point of me taking the fruits.
That's perfect, man. And that whole aspect, right? I feel like the whole thing is that like in terms of the whole leaving that whole world of like corporate ladder and like work and like deadlines, is that most people think it's safe to do it. Most people think, like you mentioned, it's like, see, to be fair, yes, it was safe. If you look at our previous generations, if you look at our parents, yeah, for them, you know, following that script where like, okay, school, college, job, retirement, buy a home, all that worked out. But in today's economy, it's just not it. You can't and the thing is, now that you're in America, right? One of the biggest thing I keep hearing on the internet is about how the American dream is slowly dying.
Yeah.
And how would you say about that? That's true, right? Almost.
Yeah, I mean, cost of living is going up. You know,
Way
we're
too
living in
much.
times of like this economic downturn.
Yeah.
You know, things are just a lot more expensive, and people's
Much more
incomes
expensive.
aren't rising to the same level of the cost of living. So there is this kind of balance or off balance that's happening. Yeah, to answer your question about safety, right? It depends on what safe is for you.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
That is also
for
very
me,
true.
for me, like being, like if I think about if I like was, you know, in my early 20s and I thought about me being in the corporate world for 20 years, to me that didn't feel safe. I was like, I'm gonna lose myself. I'm gonna lose my youth. I'm gonna lose this time I have to, you know, really immerse myself and really find my place in the world. And to me, that didn't feel safe. I didn't want to go all this life and then get to a point of regret. To me, that was, I even have like playing is safe, too risky, so we staying busy. You know what I mean? Playing
Of
is safe
course.
is too risky.
Yeah.
You know, that's what
the
I
most
felt.
unsafe thing you could do is be safe.
Yeah. So, but that's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not here to, you know, push everybody should be an entrepreneur. Everybody should be a real estate person and this, and this. No. Like figure out what you want out of life. You know, for a lot of people, I always say that success is
How you define it. Right?
exactly how you define it, right? So if I'm looking at, you know, a single mother and, you know, she has, you know, 2 children and she's able to find herself a good job that allows her to, you know, work a certain set of hours, and she's able to dedicate the rest of her time to raising her kids, and she's able to do that well while she's feeding them and clothing them and putting them in school, and she's happy doing that.
More power to her.
Yeah,
honestly.
that is success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you can't deny that is like that she's successful
Yeah.
in her right. And similarly, like, you know, if you want to, you know, have like a high aspiration and you want to be this like next level CEO and this and this, but all you do is talk about it, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it's not going to get you very
It's not
far.
going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, success is how you define it. And success is a continuous realization of a worthy goal.
Of course.
So, you know, it's different for every person, but, you know, one exercise that will help is that Ikigai thing I told you.
Yeah.
Figure out what it is what
Yeah.
is your purpose,
Yeah.
and then from there start building your life.
Yeah.
And it could be in the corporate world, it could be as an artist, you know, it could be as like you can be an autocad on rapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It could be anything.
it could be anything.
Just figure out what you like.
Exactly. And just do what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in that whole thing, I mean, we were talking about the highs and like success and everything, right? Now, you've come so far in your journey as both as like a real estate entrepreneur and as an artist. Looking back, what would be some advice that you'd give back to your younger self?
This sounds crazy, but believe in myself even more.
Even more, just
Believe in
amp it
myself
up all the way.
even
Yeah.
more. Like have like, you know, all the like I still had doubt. You know what I mean? I'm a human being. I still thought, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I going about it the right way? What would people think about me? You know, these questions and thoughts that go through every human being's brain, I had more of then. I have much less of now. But if I were to advise myself, I would go back and, you know, tell that young me to just keep going, keep rising, and to just let him know that you know, like the world is, you know, as within your reach
Yeah.
as you want.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. And like that also like made me want to point out like the whole giving up aspect that you mentioned, right? I mean, of course, it's a cliche. Everyone knows, yeah, you shouldn't really give up. But like, if you look at me, like my personal journey, like I'm not even going to lie to you, like this podcast came out of the belief in me that I can't give up. I was going through some very, very hard times in my life, and like I just didn't know what to do. I finished with college. I had my doubts as like, how do I even take on music? I'm not in the right country. I'm not in the right culture, or or maybe somewhere deep down, even a lot of artists have this aspect of like self-criticality, where you think, yeah, maybe I'm not good enough. But no, like in this position that I'm in right now, where I'm able to be in this absolutely crazy thing where I get to talk with artists, like talk about stories and stuff, like this is it. Like this is such a great thing for me. And like you said, I would say the same thing to me too, because like it's a very relatable thing too. Everyone knows it. It's like if you could go back and then be like, just believe in yourself even more. Just do more of it. Just do more.
Absolutely.
Just do more. And honestly, just props to you, man. I like that. I like
Likewise,
that. That's
props
like,
to you too. Like the
man,
fact that
you.
you're here right now, you know, following your dreams, and you know, you're really taking your passion and putting it into practice. That's, bro, like you're successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And success isn't like an end destination.
Yeah, it's a process.
Success is a process.
Yeah.
So as long as you're committed to a process that you're truly passionate about, bro, like what more do you want?
What more do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything else that you want are not even within your control. So thinking about it is just draining your energy, draining your peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's just so great. Finally, I can just let it out, you know.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So all right, now we spoke about how you changed your lane from being like an electrical engineer to everything that you are now. You know, I can't even like put it into boxes anymore. You're doing so many things. Did you have any sort of like mentors or like people who you really looked up to who like helped you show the way, or like, you know, someone who you could always go for help or advice, maybe like a family member or like a co-worker, anyone of that resort?
Yeah, so I mean, I want to start off by saying we're living during the time of the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can find mentors that I'd never have to meet through their interviews. I can find mentors that passed away. I can find mentors that are, you know, that are within my community that I wouldn't be able to reach out to otherwise of the internet. I can literally DM whoever I want.
Yeah.
So I want to start off by saying a lot of, you know, my mentorship came through watching interviews of people that I find successful and understanding what their mentality is. So that's, you know, kind of the start. It wasn't until I left the corporate world in pursuit of entrepreneurship that I started meeting people that were, you know, successful in the areas that I wanted to be successful. You know, it wasn't until like, you know, after I had worked in the corporate world for 5 years and I ventured off into trying to be an entrepreneur that I started meeting, oh, this guy's a real estate developer. You know, let me just see if I could, you know, provide some sort of value for him. In exchange, he can give me knowledge and give me some, you know, feedback and advice. And you know, it was things like, you know, either just buying them coffee or, hey, how can I work for you for free? What can I do? I'm skilled in this, this, and this. I'll work for you for free, just in return of you answering some questions. You know, I was doing things like that, and you know, they'll put me on game, and they'll give me information that you just can't Google. You know what I mean? And that just completely would change my perspective to I would increment to a different level, and then from there, you know, I'm picking some, you know, trying to find somebody that's doing whatever, and then just increment from that level, and then it just keeps going. And then honestly, for me, I find mentorship and advice from pretty much anybody I'm inspired by. You know what I mean? If someone can inspire me, like they have the ability to teach me something.
And one of them was definitely Jay-Z, right? I think
Definitely.
He was probably amongst your top 5 of sorts.
Yeah.
You know?
Like within rappers, yeah, like people like Jay-Z, like Nipsey Hussle, definitely, because he's also like heavily into real estate.
Yeah.
He's also heavily into giving back to the community. He wanted to use his voice as a platform to empower others, and you know, I find a lot of relatability in that type of, you know, appeal. But yeah, and then just over the years now, you know, I have a whole bunch of mentors. You know what I mean? Like famous and non-famous, and just people that know what I'm doing. You know, people that I look up to in many different regards. And like my advice to a lot of, you know, people that are seeking mentors is like understand that they are more valuable to you than you are to them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people miss that point, right? People are like, hey, bro, let's meet. And I'm like, bro, like, what are we gonna do when we meet? Like, I'm in Chennai for like 10 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's all these people that, you know, like that I want to meet, do this, and this. It's like, it's
Give
like,
me a reason.
Yeah, no, but it's like not even in a rude way. It's like just they have to, like, if you're looking for mentorship, be empathetic towards your mentor. That person is already doing what you want to do.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they're the ones that's going to be, you know, sacrificing their time and effort in
Exactly,
trying,
yeah.
and they're happy to do it.
Yeah.
But if you really
But
want
know
to,
it. Like
Yeah.
realize that
Yeah.
that's the position that you are in.
exactly,
And you know, and that's fair because
Yeah.
like how else are you gonna learn?
absolutely,
You have to be in that spot of humility to be able to
Facts.
take in information. I mean, of course, you need to have your ego when it applies.
Yeah,
Right, like I mean, like even if you ask me, like there's so many instances where I've involved in where people's ego just is way too high.
yeah,
It's like and that I think it also goes into a lot about the world we're in right now. It's like the standards of anything has become, not that it's a bad thing that it's high, but like unrealistically high.
yeah, yeah.
And like
We're living in an instant gratification era.
exactly.
Yeah,
We're living
and-
in instant gratification, and everything's within our Instagram reach.
Yeah.
So everyone's just like, oh, you can easily get it. They don't understand the value of
Yeah,
things.
it's like, I DM'd you on Shankar Raja, he didn't respond to me, he sucks. Like, no, bro, like he has
Know
stuff to
your
do.
place.
You know what I mean? But it goes both ways though, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, yes, know your place. And at the same time, also understand not everyone at the high level who wants to help you is doing it for the right reason either.
Yeah.
And I've learned this along the way. But even in times that I'm about to explain, I've learned my place of humility. Just if I can learn something, I'm gonna just, you know, like keep my ego within myself and just disregard it for the situation. There's times where, you know, I've met, you know, people that I, you know, highly looked up to and still look up to, but, you know, their reason for mentorship is so that they have someone that they can look down on.
Oh, yes.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's also human tendency. I realized, oh, there's people that don't understand on this end, there's people that don't understand on that end. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
just a matter of, okay, even that person who's looking down on me just because they're at a higher position, like that doesn't affect me. Like their opinion of whatever they think doesn't change my life and confidence and growth. But if they're able to give me some tidbits and information that's useful for my journey, yeah, I can suck my ego up and you know, put myself in the position, unless they're disrespectful.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
There are lines you can't cross.
Yeah,
obviously.
unless they don't, you know what I mean? But that's just how it is. And like another advice I would give to people seeking mentorship on the lines of know your place is provide value to them. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like just like if your favorite artist is such and such, like, and if you're really good at drawing and you want to get their attention, like draw them something amazing, get their attention. If you know that they're looking for something very specific and you know their video like that they've recently put up wasn't edited the best way and you're a great video editor, don't ask them, hey bro, can I edit your video? They might not even see that. They might have like 50, you know, hundreds of people asking that same question. But how many of them have actually taken that effort, put the time in, and like, here's the product.
Yeah.
Please, can I meet
Proof
you?
it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think these are the kinds of things. Like, I mean, just put yourself in the position of somebody already doing it, right? Like, what would you want from people?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to add to your point, like you mentioned how there are people in your life who try to mentor you just so they can put themselves up. That I think that also is a huge factor to the point to the fact that like you're on the right track, you know. If someone who's in a position above you is trying to put you down, that means you're trying to come up to them. And that's perfect, bro.
No,
that's perfect, man.
No,
yeah.
that's a good point, and it's true. It's like, and I felt that it's like, why is, you know, so and so, you know, like giving me feedback that not necessarily is like true, and like, you know what I mean. So these are things you have to, you know, take into consideration, and not every advice is real advice. You have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But again, it goes to having a deep knowledge of who you are.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
That realization.
Yeah, there's certain artists, like, you know, even as I'm rapping in Tamil and stuff like that, there's certain artists that would tell me, oh, you shouldn't do it like this because it doesn't sound cool. But to me, it's like, well, it sounds cool to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not from here.
And
I'm gonna do that.
the main thing is, right, I feel like in that specific thing, you're not doing it to sound cool. Like he's like, oh bro, it could sound cooler. Nah, I'm not even doing it to sound cool in the first place. This is me.
Yeah.
It's who I am. It's who you are. You know,
Yeah.
as Vozy, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And no one can question that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's like one artist, like I wouldn't name their name.
Okay.
But like it's like, you know, some of my raps, like when I'm rapping in Tamil, like even like the hip hop Tamil verse, like Kavinya flowing with the bars the yare, Vozy na studied bar the yare, hip hop la dane, nane pastares, yeah, paka on the Tamil valva the pare. Like, you know, when I like each one ended with the like pare, dane, star right? Someone was like, oh bro, that's just cringe to do the sound in this. Like you should just say Kavinya flowing with the bars the yar. yaar. Like, and I was like, and to me, and then I'm like, why? And I'm like, yeah, it sounds cringe because you speak English well. Why would you, throw that in because it sounds like you're mocking da 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 da. Like, see, in my music, I always say it without the sound. And then I'm like, yeah, because you're trying to be American.
Yeah.
I already am that.
Yeah.
You
You're
know
not
what I
trying
mean?
to do anything.
Yeah,
You're
like
just
what
being
I'm
you are.
trying to just explore new styles and things, and that type of style actually relates with people
Yeah.
over here.
And not to mention.
And who's to say the Velakara isn't going to say I'm in a college?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's up to you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I think that's a very limited, small mentality to have because, like, why else are we doing music? Like,
Yeah.
we are in it to express us in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
And even if you take Wozi as an artist, you have your American side, you have your Tamil side. Why not show it? What's like, and then why have it someone say, oh, it's not cool enough, bro?
yeah.
It's such a small thing. Like,
Yeah,
get
yeah,
out of
yeah.
that shell. You know, you need to.
And
really,
this is actually an artist I respect, and
Oh.
this isn't someone that I'm like saying is like, I don't think this person is trying to like be malicious with me, but this is actually their style. But it's like they have their way of thinking about it that they are trying to put in my brain.
Yeah.
But it's again a matter of knowing myself. I can take that advice and say thank you, and then not do
But
it.
no thanks.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like it's like I still have the option of choice.
Exactly.
But that's the point I'm trying to make is seek advice, seek different perspectives, but don't attach yourself to what someone. Oh, if this person said this, I should just do it exactly this way.
Yeah.
Know yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's totally fair, man. Now, okay. Now, we spoke about artists and stuff. Now, let's talk about the people who you would like to collab with. Could you name some artists that you would like to collab with locally from here, from the Tamil scene, and also like on a global scale?
Locally, there's a lot of artists I want to collab with, to be honest. I know like me and MC Devesh, we've been speaking. I know you guys just interviewed him. We spoke
Yeah.
about like doing a track together. I really love his flow and style. Like Adiva is a good friend of mine. We actually have a track that we've made.
Oh,
So I'm not sure when or if it'll see the light, but it's actually a really dope track, and so maybe we can make more. I love Afro Asal. I don't know. A funny story about Asal. I don't know if you guys know. I'm actually the executive producer for the music video of Jortala.
oh,
Yeah. So if you look at the ending credits of Jortala, you see Vozi at the bottom.
wow. Damn,
Yeah.
man. Okay.
I might have noticed it. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So like I didn't like.
That's
I-
amazing, bro.
Yeah, I
Let's
made
go.
like maybe like one post about it or whatever, like just when it happened. But yeah, like the story behind that was actually like I got connected with Afro originally, and then he's like, oh, I'm working with this artist called Asal Kolar. This might be like early 2021, and I'm working with this artist called Asal Kolar, and I'm like, oh, dope. And then he showed me Jortala like before it released,
Okay.
and I was like, oh my god, this song is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, let me speak to Asal. At this point, Asal is just like a guy that goes to like Movement Chennai. Like he's just like a up and coming rapper, like in the city, trying to get people to know him. When I met him, he had like maybe like 600 followers, something like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like yeah.
So
So
you were there before Asal blew the fuck up.
oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely. And no, so we actually got in conversation and spoke a lot. Like I gave him mad props for the song. I told him like, bro, this song is gonna blow up. Like I had this feeling. And then I was like, yo, are you gonna make a music video for this track? And then he's like, yeah, bro, I would, but like I know I'm kind of low on funds right now, such and such. And I was like, well, shit, how much do you need? And then he told me the amount. And then I just believed in him and the song enough to be like, here. And
Wow, man.
and it's funny. He left a voice note. He's like, bro, I'm about to go shoot the music video for it. Wish me luck. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like we had these conversations. Like I told him, like, bro, you're gonna blow up one day. Watch. And then
Wow.
I'm just so happy to see the levels and heights.
Yeah,
he's
no,
taken.
exactly. Asal
his
Kolar is
music.
everywhere now. Holy
I have
shit.
major props and respect for him. He's such a talented guy, and yeah, no, I'd love to collaborate with him one day. And it's a matter of time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just like I said, I'm not like the type to like force any sort of collaboration to
Yeah.
happen. If it naturally happens, great. But yeah, no, I love Afro's music.
Mhm.
I love Asal's music. There's a really dope artist called Priya Raghu.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of her.
Not sure.
Bro, you should check her out. She's actually like a Swiss Tamil artist.
Oh.
She's blowing up.
Okay.
She makes fire music. Like I love her music.
Got it.
Like within the Tamil community. And I'm grateful to say like a lot of the the rappers like are aware of what I'm doing. Like what I mean. I'm in touch with them. I speak to them. Like MC Sai, like Rati,
Mhm.
like Balin Cash from Malaysia.
Okay.
Like Yogi B. Like these are all people that always like if I drop a song, like Like they'll give me
They show you
feedback.
love, yeah.
So for me, I realized, man, it's like I have like this international like community of Tamil artists that are within this kind of within the circle and within the sphere. So I'm just gonna keep it going. And yeah, no, there's a bunch of people I would love to collaborate with. On a global scale, I mean, this is just like a pipe dream. But if I can, I mean, obviously, like I'm gonna shoot big. If I can have a song with Drake,
Yeah.
why not?
Why
if I can have
not?
a song with J. Cole, why not? You know? But yeah, no, it's like whoever it is, it has to be a dope song and the energy has to be there.
It has to be natural.
It has
too,
to be
you know.
natural, yeah.
Unfortunately, if you force it, the end product itself is not going to be as good.
Exactly.
Okay, man. All right. Okay. Now, now that you brought up we were talking about the Tamil hip hop scene. Is there any, from your level, like, from your understanding of it and your experience with it, is there any sort of suggestion, or maybe like, let's say like you see the Tamil hip hop scene, you're like, you know what, if maybe this changes, the Tamil scene could blow up, could be on another level. Is there anything of that sort that you feel?
Yeah. I feel and I don't know about like international Tamil artists like outside of Chennai, but I'm speaking about like Chennai in general, right?
Okay.
I'm looking at a bunch of artists and their goal is to blow up, right? But what ends up happening when they blow up is that the film industry catches a hold of them. And then they're like they'll just take them in that
commercial route.
Yeah. And then the artists feel like they made it because now they're getting exposure through these films. And then a lot of their work now just starts going into like film music. So one thing that's really interesting is that there's around 80 to 100 million Tamil people in the world. I don't know the exact number, but there's a shit ton of us all over the world.
Of course, yeah.
And 90%, 95%, I want even like 98% of all the music, media, and movies that are consumed by the diaspora, global Tamil people, happens in this city, in Chennai.
In Chennai, yeah.
In Chennai, you know what I mean? So, but it's and it's coming out of the Kollywood industry. So I think one thing that I like about someone like Hip Hop Tamila, for instance, right, is that he's making a bunch of like movie films and he's doing a bunch of movies and things of that nature. But at the same time, he's putting effort in to release music independently.
Of course.
And I think that would be like my advice for a lot of artists also is like once you've blown up and you have this reach, you're at a perfect place to now test the waters with more of your own independent styles.
You only scrap the surface of your creative potential, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because when you enter the movie space, you end up in this safety net. I mean, I think that's what most people would do. And fair enough, because when you're dealing with a movie scale of things, there's going to be limitations. And even though you may or may not like it, that's the reality. But like you said, Hip Hop Tamara is like this one beacon of hope for many independent artists because he's still, till this day, keeping independent while also making his own movies, doing his own thing in Tamil cinema, and that's fair. I agree with that too. I totally agree with that.
No, and I think there's a bunch of artists that are going to be doing it. Like I have a lot of optimism with Arivu. He's a close friend of mine also. Funny story with Arivu, we actually met in Seattle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like doing this like America tour last year.
Wow.
And I'm like, if you actually Google Tamil American rapper, I'm like the first person that comes up, which is weird because there aren't like that many. Which is weird. Like you would think America would have a lot of Tamil rappers, but it's just for some reason they just go there and then like kind of people just start focusing on like their work and things of that nature. So when Arivu was in America, he like someone from the Seattle Tamil Sangam, called him to do like some sort of event over there, and then they reached out to me because I'm like the only Tamil rapper / media person, entrepreneur that's doing what I do, and I do a bunch of events and stuff there too. So they asked me to conduct like a live interview with Arivu, kind of like what we're doing now, but with an audience. And him and I, we just met the day before the interview, and we were just vibing. You know what I mean? And then we did the interview, and then the rest is history. So we just kept in touch throughout. But yeah, no, he's also working on an album right now, which I'm really excited about. And I've heard a bunch of those tracks, and it's crazy. So I have a lot of hope for what that's about to do for the culture.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, man. All right. Now, okay, there's obviously the fact that there's the fact that there are literally so many different varieties of hip hop as a genre, as far as the scene goes, as far as the styles go. How would you say, in your experience, right? How would you say is like the Tamil hip hop scene? How different is it from the American hip hop scene that you've been engaged in? Because you've had a taste of both worlds. How would you say what aspects are they very different in? What aspects do you feel like they're inspired from each other? Is there something you could say? Is there something you could touch upon?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I don't necessarily think that the current hip hop scene of America is reflective of its best form.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I
Agreeable,
think like
yeah.
its better form was, back when people were, rapping about stories and things, and like like the words had more metaphors and meanings and like relatability. So now it's like all about being dripped out and like
I
sex,
think
drugs,
even if you
violence.
take the songs themselves, I think they've like all of these songs are carried by their production aspect alone.
Yes.
That's become a lot of the
Yes,
American hip hop scene.
Yes. I think production-wise, like obviously, like production just keeps getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
But I think as far as like
Lyrical.
just the lyrical element of it, I think it's not there. It's not like I don't think we're in our best phase right now.
Yeah.
Okay. With that said, I feel like one of the beauties of the Tamil language is like the intricacy of our language and
Yeah.
and the poetry that you can create with our words, and it's beautiful to see even like a bunch of the guys like that are like rapping in Movement and a bunch of like artists over here. They're carrying with them like the element of being an MC. You know what I mean? They call themselves MCs.
They're still keeping that
core
proper idea of a
Yeah.
rapper alive,
exactly.
of an MC alive.
Yes. You know what I mean? Like hip hop is around the elements of like DJing, MCing, like being a b-boy.
Yeah.
These are all like real elements.
Yeah,
of hip-hop.
exactly.
In Chennai, like I know like the b-boys. You know what I mean? There's b-boys here.
Genuine b-boys,
There's
yeah.
like genuine MCs here. There's
Dancers
genuine
too, yeah.
DJs, dance. You know what I mean? So when I think about what started hip hop in America, which I was too young for, but I just knowing the history and then kind of comparing that over here, I'm seeing a lot of hope in where things are. People might think, oh, we're a little bit behind, but I think we're in a great place to increment in the best way.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I just don't think it'll make sense for the culture here to have like artists talk about sex, drugs, and violence and have that be mainstream
Yeah,
in the
not
same
really.
level. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? I don't think the
exactly.
culture wants that. So, but yeah, no, I think it's we're in a great place right now, and I think it's still just beginning. It's just the start
Yeah.
of it. You know what I mean? I think like when you think of like Tamil rappers, like there was Yogi B that kind of like launched it off for us. But then after that, it's like no one's really like, wow, this person's like like this person's on the same level as Divine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
no one like that yet.
Yeah. But the potential's there. We're
Potential's
seeing
there.
it.
And then when I look at Punjabi,
Yeah.
when I look at the Punjabi scene, they're like next level.
Next
man.
level.
Next level. They
Yeah.
have like they have their independent artists that are like in movies, but then like just as an independent artist, they're just doing amazingly. They have like a very core like Punjabi global audience that supports their music. Here like I think within our community, like it'll be nice if the diaspora can realize that there's a lot more media and music and movies to be consumed outside of Hollywood because there's a bunch of dope independent people that are doing things. But I have no doubt. I think it's just a matter of time that it's going to catch up to that
going to
level.
happen, yeah.
We have the market, we have the talent, we got it all.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's get into another topic now. It's about how I've noticed that you've mentioned it in some articles about how you want to start your own record label and also make it a point to, and very, 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 very respectable cause of like trying to help out the artists from like much more humbler socioeconomic backgrounds. Now, how far are you along in that journey? How has it been?
Yeah, so there's a few artists that I've, including Asal Kolar,
Okay.
that I've, helped in that phase.
Okay.
And like Vijay, for instance, he did a song called Yan Prashna Edhukku Prachana,
Okay.
which I funded
Oh, okay.
the music video for. And as far as it goes, like I'm at a phase where I've planted a lot of seeds. I've planted a lot of seeds in terms of my relationships with a lot of these artists. And then I've planted a lot of seeds in terms of just global Tamil people that are doing things. So I think if I were like it is still a huge aspiration of mine to create some sort of entity that could create for and curate artist development. And in order to do that, it takes more than just money.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It takes like the right set of
It takes time, it takes
resource-
talent.
yeah, time, talent, like the right set of individuals to be able to do that. But yeah, like a song like Yan Prashna Edhukku Prachana allowed someone like Vijay to get on Vijay TV and win Morata single.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like these are like and I've seen him do that. It's like and he can directly point, wow, this thing led to this, which led to that. You know what I mean? And I look at like someone like Asal and he's just like on a whole nother level. I'm not gonna claim like I have I'm like the reason for their success.
Of course.
But I know that I like played a small part that was necessary for them during that time. So I want to keep doing more of that, and that is a big part of my goal. Another, big part of what I want to do is, get diaspora money and be able to, not just money, resources, etc.
Yeah.
And be able to deploy it more within the artist to create the cultural economy of our community.
Community,
So,
of course.
I've put the groundwork in for a lot of this. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of people that I'm connected with, and there's a lot of things that are, in behind the scenes that are happening. But it's going to take time.
Yeah.
And but I have no doubt that this is something that is a very serious part of my journey.
Let's go, man. I hope it comes into fruition.
Cheers, yeah.
You have my full support, man. Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, all right. Now let's come to the wrapping up of the podcast. Now, what's next for Wozy? Like, we've had the projects that you have so far. Do you have any plans that you have when it comes to your music? Maybe like changing sounds, changing genres, maybe. What's next for Wozy, basically?
Yeah, I mean a lot. There's a Tamil movie that I had the opportunity to rap in.
Oh.
Yeah, and the movie's gonna be releasing at the end of November, I believe. That I'm excited about.
Congrats, man!
Thank
Holy
you,
shit!
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So that happened, like I did like some sort of like Instagram freestyle video earlier this year. I always say it's not about like how many people are listening; it's about who's listening. And one of the guys who listened happened to be a music director, and he's like, "Wow, I love your sound. I want your thing for this movie." So he got me an opportunity to do that. So that's gonna happen. There's some more actually like movie people that I'm speaking with. To put myself there, and like we spoke about before, it's just marketability. It's just about putting myself there.
Of course.
So there's that happening. There's some collaborations with some artists that I'm excited about as well.
Okay.
That's gonna come about. What else? I mean, and then like just like business-wise, there's a bunch of stuff that I'm doing that I'm excited about. I'm building 24 townhomes in Seattle.
Oh.
Like kind of scattered around the city.
Okay.
Yeah. One of my goals in 2024 is to start and launch a real estate fund.
Wow.
Which is take investors' money and give them equity or dividends off the properties we own. So there's a bunch of stuff like that I'm working on.
Perfect.
And
man.
my goal is to continue being back in Chennai at least a few times a year.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was mentioning that.
Yeah.
And I think just being like connected here is gonna do a lot. And there's a bunch of folks here that are doing real estate and doing big things as far as like like a business sense that I'm deeply connected with, and we're interested in collaborating and investing into each other. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming about. But yeah, no, I think over the past 2 years, especially 18 months to 2 years, I focused a lot of my efforts in the business world, and I've made music, but I haven't released as much as I would like to.
Okay.
And my goal moving forward, is to change that. And part of the reason I'm even here in Chennai is to like work on some more music, bust some things out, put it out there, and then just make that process be repetitive and continual and cyclical. So yeah, as long as I keep doing that, like I think my business is coming to a point where a lot of it is getting more and more automated to a point where I don't necessarily have to be there. I've created a good enough appeal for things to run. So, and obviously it's still work, and to keep maintaining that. But I want to make sure that I set aside more time and effort and space within my brand and within kind of my energy to just keep putting out more music.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
It's amazing to hear. Really excited for your projects, man.
Cheers.
Let's go. So that brings us to the end of the Music for Days podcast, guys. Stay tuned.
Let's get it.
Perfect, man.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, of course.